Wages of Sin. This is our 2017 first review
First review
of 2007.
I'm Eric Miller.
I'm Dan Beck.
I'm Stephen Gillen.
What did we review?
We're going to review Room for Rent.
Directed by Richard Tanner. This is Richard Tanner's second film, I believe. He did Once Upon a Nightmare. We got to see this early. I believe it's not out for the public viewing just yet. The synopsis is, after the untimely death of his parents, David Bagley's life is shattered. He decides to buy his first home in an attempt to sort things out, but quickly finds that his problems aren't going to be solved so easily. After placing an ad online for a roommate, David starts to receive emails about a possible haunting in his house and makes it his personal mission to disprove all their theories. Of course, after a few bumps in the night and something stalking the shadows in his attic, David starts to doubt his skepticism.
So he starts to believe.
Starts to believe. It's found footage.
It's found footage 2.0 because it's like the new YouTube and Instagram footage.
It's
Yeah,
like
it does
the
have Instagram.
police had put together the videos from the YouTube and his sister's, her phone,
Or Instagram.
phone
Video.
account.
In his YouTube account.
And this is them, I guess the police just like, here's the story.
Here's what happened.
It starts off, I guess, on the computer actually, just
Yeah.
clicking file.
I thought something was wrong with my computer when I was watching it on my computer. I was like, what?
Same, because I watched it and I'm like, what's wrong with my desktop? That's clean. My desktop has a lot more icons on that.
So what did you think? Gentlemen?
This, I'm a fan of found footage since the Blair Witch Project. That had always won me, and this reminded me a lot of that in ways. Over the past this past Halloween, I reviewed a Slender Man movie called something. It was not Slender Man. It was
Called
something, and it angered me because it was so terrible.
Was
This-
it found footage as well?
It was found footage, but that movie didn't succeed. This one, I thought was a little more entertaining and it was more fun than that movie. So this succeeded in the found footage. Or that
I
one.
enjoyed the found footage aspect of this. I noticed a lot of it was one long, continuous, the YouTube post of it, and he wasn't like rambling, but he was just talking and talking. And like, I was wondering, was that all part of the script? Or I just told him hey, let's, hit on these topics for this scene, but just go with it, and we'll, whatever happens, happens. I enjoyed that though. It was a lot more natural
Yeah.
than scripted YouTube
Foundage.
70 movies.
And that's props to the actors for, I think, because they did have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
the character's named David had to carry the movie pretty much, and he had his sister come in, and
Sister Sarah.
then their friend Joey shows up. But that scene, I think, like you said, they probably were given an outline, said, here's the things you need to cover. I imagine. I couldn't imagine having to memorize an entire script. I mean, it's possible, but
Yeah, I can't imagine memorizing anything. It had like different aspect ratios because it's like him with his camera or it may be phone.
It was a
Doing
camera.
most
It was a camera.
doing most of the bulk of his stuff. His sister comes in and then it's like vertical. So visually, it's changed up a lot. There's a lot of change up, and that I guess helps with the pacing and stuff like that.
they shot this on a Canon VX. I think it's the same camera we use here for a lot of our behind the scenes, and anything that we shoot a show or something that we need to be on the go has like the autofocus and stuff. I believe they use that as well. From what I looked in the credits, I'm like, hey, look at that, which is like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
See something you recognize.
which I mean that would be like way easier to shoot found footage with. Than
Yeah,
trying to
I wouldn't want to
a-
use like a DSLR where you have to do autofocus or
Yeah.
not manual focus and stuff. You definitely want something that's gonna.
Well, like with Cloverfield, didn't they had like an actual cameraman just following him.
I'm sure.
With it making it look like that, and that's a big old contraption to
Yeah.
have to deal with.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, this is a what I think we refer to as micro budget, an indie
Yeah.
film. And it's a good way to get a movie out there, or get a story out there, is you do things like that. You do found footage. You do something you have access to equipment, and you can tell a story in that way. So I think that's clever. That's a good way to get going.
Yeah.
And
And this
have
is
a whole mess of locations either.
true. Yeah. And it's being like found footage the way that they did it. They didn't utilize a lot of special effects or anything like that. A lot of this is like jump scare and that kind of thing. So those are all practical things that you can do, and I guess it's a little more difficult to edit found footage with jump scares. I mean, it's you
Yeah.
gotta rely on the actors selling that. And
Mhm.
I think they did a pretty good job on that.
Now, I will say this for the story, because we watch a lot of movies, and we watch a lot of found footage stuff. I think I knew when going into this was found footage. So I was already ready to go. So once he got to the house, I'm like, all right, let's get in here. Let's get some whatever the haunting, or is it is it gonna be ghost monsters?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something sooner. They do a lot of build up before
Yeah.
you get to that. That's one thing I kind of wished. I guess because I don't know how the general audience would view it. I was prepared because I think I already knew where it was heading, and I wanted
Yeah.
to get to it.
Like maybe some things that you might see in the background and he not notice.
You
and
know,
you
There was that scene where he's calls the realtor,
yeah.
and in the background, there's the fan, and then there's that lamp on either side of him, and I kept waiting for something, the lamp to move, the fan to start spinning, some kind of supernatural, and I was like, it's there. Something's got to happen. And it was a very
setting me up.
long scene, and I'm like, I was mad that nothing, the fan didn't move a little bit.
Physically angered, just
I was, yes.
you flash past.
I don't want to get too spoilerly. Spoilerly.
70 movies.
But there was when he talks to the realtor,
Oh.
Yeah.
and the realtor told him about some of the history of the town. I kind of wish that history played a little more, and it might have, and I didn't pick up on it, but I wish it would have.
It's like they started to talk about it, and then they stopped, and they're like, I think a child went missing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, it was. I had a my thing was when he had the pest inspector come because he saw something in the attic, which he
New
saw
York rat.
on video.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he show that video to the inspector and say, "This is what I saw. What do
not
you
a
think it is?" Well, obviously.
Well, we do have like the main character, which is David,
Mhm.
his
David
sister,
Dyke.
sister Sarah, friend Joey, and there also is Aaron Brown that's in this.
She plays a cop, or a police
Law
officer.
enforcement officer.
She was comical to the point of getting a little bit too comical.
When I didn't realize who it was at
I
first.
didn't
I didn't.
But
either.
it looked like a cartoon character outside. It's like, what's
Yeah.
going on with that? It did take me out a little bit.
Everything was so serious, and then she comes along,
It
and
was
she's
funny,
like,
but-
she's like pronouncing Joey's last name, and she just keeps messing it up, and it's like, really?
Some of the reactions from the, like from Sarah and stuff was funny. They were like, man, she's an idiot.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
was.
oh, yeah.
Well, it was kind of clever. Like later on, when she was running around, there was footage from her body cam. That
Mhm.
was-
They
that
tied,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, to tie in more video footage.
We ready for a rating yet?
You ready for it?
Yes, let's rate it. Let's
Okay.
rate it on our good scale.
Would you like to explain the scales?
Well, sure. Normally, for movies that we find funny and or bad, we give it a poot scale, 1 to 5. 5 being we'd watch it again, 1 being probably never. And for movies we like, we give it a scale based on something from within the movie we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our scale we will be using today. Would you care to start off, or would you like me to start off, since I already have something in mind?
I was going to confuse the matters even more.
Go ahead.
And once a year at the Black Cat Picture Show at Le Chat Noir, we give away a Wages of Cine award. And we look for
That's
movies
true.
that it's hard to kind of define. It's like movies that are made with a lot of heart, not a lot of budget.
Not a lot of money, but with a lot of
But
soul.
they, try to do their best at making something entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think this would fall into like something that would, it's something we'd, consider to be in that category of a wages.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
No,
Are you dropping hints there?
It's that, because I've been trying to think, like, how do we describe what that award is,
Yeah.
This is something like this falls into that. Something that's made that
I
they didn't
enjoyed
go
it.
out to make we're going to just be all goofy. And they actually had a story and they planned it out. And
Yeah.
so this is, something like that.
Well, thank you for the addition. Not confusing at all.
Everyone's like, what?
All right, well, I'll go first. It's on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. I give this 3.5 creepy girls outside, ghost-ish figure played by Danielle Page. Because I enjoyed it. I'm not usually a found footage person, but I thought they did a nice twist on it, and they had a good story, and it was sufficiently creepy enough for me.
Good.
Thank you. Drive through. Dan Beck.
I'm gonna give it 3 mortgage. Is
All right.
I'm not a huge fan of found footage. It's sometimes it can be like too tedious with a lot of running around and shaky camera stuff. This isn't like that. It's more controlled, and he's just talking to the camera a lot. So I think they did that quite well. So yeah, 3 mortgage. Zzz.
7 movies.
I'm going to go right down the middle with the 2.5.
That's
Two-
not the middle. Oh, that is the
Yeah.
middle.
5, right?
I thought it was the
2.5.
middle of us. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Of the scale. 2.5 holy water containers. Because Joey brought some.
Full of whiskey.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, no, that one's whiskey. So yeah, I would give it 2.5. I enjoyed it. Had a cool ending soundtrack credit song.
Yeah.
Kicked in, got you.
I could not read the report at the end. I will say that, to add that. When you see it comes up and they type something at the very end, I guess I couldn't read any of that. Maybe it was my computer.
I was wondering because we got a screener, so maybe it was like not the full.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I was curious
could be.
about that myself.
So let me know what it says. And like you said, the back history of the house and the former tenants, I would like to know if there was some of that was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can check out a Buck Short Productions is the company who put this out. Richard Tanner, the director.
And they Once Upon a Nightmare was their other movie that they made.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Richard.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.